Thank you, Paul.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started in just about 1 minute. I know we're having fabulous conversations and there's good treats out in the hall, so I hope you'll keep enjoying them, but we'll get started in just a minute.
Ready? Okay. Can everyone hear me? Am I mic'd? I can't even tell. Yes, I am. Okay. Hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We're so excited. We've been planning this for a year. Yeah. So thank you all so much for coming. I think I'm so happy at the turnout, and hopefully we can, answer questions and address all the reasons that you guys are all here today. So this event is being put on by our UNC Atypical Parkinsonism Center, and we are so lucky to have sponsorship from CurePSP Foundation and from some private donors as well, which you can see in your packets. And I just want to say a really special thank you to Maggie Ivansey. She's our clinical social worker, our center coordinator for all the centers, our CurePSP Center of Care, our MSA Center of Excellence, which is through Mission MSA, and not to mention all the Parkinson's stuff. So she is a busy person, and if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I am Miriam Sklarov. I'm a neurologist at UNC. I'm a movement disorder specialist, and I specifically specialize in atypical Parkinsonism syndromes. I'm the director of the CurePSP Center of Care at UNC and the Mission MSA Center of Excellence. And so I'm really excited to be here today. I'm excited you guys are all here. And a little background about why we're doing this. When people are given a diagnosis of multiple system atrophy, progressive supranuclear palsy, corticobasal syndrome, a lot of people in this room may not have even heard of these things before. And what they may not realize is that they're about to embark on an interesting journey, one that may not have a good roadmap or any roadmap, one that, doesn't necessarily have obvious places for support. And that can be difficult for both the person getting the diagnosis and their families and care partners. It can certainly cause uncertainty and have a really big impact on wellness and mental health. And so that is what inspired us to put this program together. In fact, we have been doing a survey at our center, again, thanks to Maggie, trying to see what the needs of our patient population is. And what really has stood out again and again, we've been doing this for 2 years now, is coping. People want to have support with coping, among other things. And so that is what we're going to try to address today. We are not specifically going to be talking about symptom management or medications, but myself and the other clinicians will be mingling. We're going to be here all day. If you have specific questions that I can help with, please come talk to me. I'm here all day, during lunch, during breaks, whenever, and happy to talk to you. Again, I can't necessarily give specifics if I don't know you or the person with the symptoms, but I can certainly try to direct you and give some more general information. And again, our hope is to really connect you with resources. That's why we have asked a lot of these vendors to be here today, examples of, local and kind of throughout North Carolina, ways of finding support and help for specific things or specific needs. That's all I needed to say.
And I also just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you because, like we said, this has been a year in the making, and it has been through conversations that I've had with all of you, whether it's been in a support group, whether it's been, in an appointment. The things that I often hear is you want to connect with other people. So we wanted to have a time where we're actually in person. All of our support groups are virtual, which makes it, convenient and easy, but it's so nice to be able to actually be together. Yeah, wanting to be in person, wanting to connect with one another, but also wanting to have more information about how to manage everyday life and manage how to have a better quality of life. So we really want to focus on improving quality of life and what are other people doing and how are they um, uh, getting through the day, right? So that's what we wanted to share with you all today. I also just wanted to share a little bit about my role as the social worker. If you're unfamiliar with what that role would look like on your healthcare team, many of you know me, but some of you don't. So if you're unfamiliar, Dr. Skleroff just mentioned a few of the things that I do. I do facilitate our support group. That is the only one in the state. I am the coordinator of our interdisciplinary clinic. I'm really a listening ear. I'm the person that you can reach out to if you don't know where to turn, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know who to ask. Please, you all have my contact information. You have that information in the packet. I probably email you. I hope not too much. But please reach out to me so that I can be a support to you, because that is my role, to be able to connect you with our other awesome interdisciplinary team members who you're going to hear from today. Because what we know about these diseases is it doesn't rely on one discipline alone. It really takes a team. And we are all here working together. Oh, I wanted to mention 11 of us, 11 people on our interdisciplinary team just got back from Minneapolis, where we were at a training with the Parkinson's Foundation in collaboration with CurePSP to learn about how to improve care for people with atypical Parkinsonism. This is the first one that has been done before. So there were over 100 of us in the room. I think UNC probably had one of the biggest teams there. And we had a really good experience. We have some people in the room who were there learning, and it was just incredible. So I wanted to share that with you all so you know that we are constantly learning. We are constantly trying to improve, trying to learn from people across the country, internationally. And yeah, just wanted to share a little bit of that, a little behind the scenes that you might not know about. And share a little bit about how important each of the roles on your healthcare team is. So not gonna
Can I do a quick shout out to Jessica
please.
Shore
Oh,
in the
yes,
back,
please.
who was really the person who put that whole thing
Yes.
together. So
Yes, Jessica made that all happen. And also started this program with Dr. Skleroff 7 years ago here at UNC. So thank you, Jessica. And I think we're ready to start. So thank you, everybody. The first session we have on the program is Mindfulness with Nancy Wolf.
What do I do to make it? Oh, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so let's start out with just find a good position. Find a good position for yourself. You can have something in your lap, not have something in your lap. You can close your eyes, not close your eyes. Whatever, just find something that works for you. And you're going to start out with just focusing on your breath, not changing your breath in any way, just noticing. It may be the rise and fall of your chest. It may be the air coming in and out of your nose and mouth. You may notice where your body comes in contact with what you're sitting on. And notice if your mind is active. Are you thinking about other things? Being pulled? Did I unload the dishwasher before I left? Did I lock the car? Did I turn my phone off? And just like you would invite a friend into your home, you're just going to invite your mind back to your breathing. No harshness. Just focus on your breathing. And then in ending, just internally wish yourself well. And then bring your attention back to me. So mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in that particular moment with a friendly, non-judging attitude. You're not trying to change what's going on. You're just being present to it. Formal mindfulness is you are taking a position. You're sitting, you're standing with the intention of being mindful for a period of time. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. That's your intention for that moment. Informal mindfulness is you're being mindful while you're doing something. You could be taking a shower. You could be doing the dishes. You could be getting ready for work, getting dressed. Instead of getting dressed and brushing your teeth and thinking about the 6 other things that you want to do, can you be present? And the reason this is important is there is so much research that this is just downright good for us. It gets us out of the next. Oh, sorry. So there's some attitudes that you bring to mindfulness that are helpful, that fall into this friendly category. Non-judging, non-striving. So it's not, oh, I didn't do this right. Oh, my mind has wandered 12 times. You're just seeing what's happening, letting go, beginner's mind. I call that curiosity, that you're just going to sit down and see what comes up, what's rattling around in there, what's going on in my body in this moment. Trust. Trust is about believing that this is good for us, trusting the process. And patience, because sometimes when you're sitting or you're trying to be mindful while you're doing something, it doesn't feel so good. So having some patience and acceptance that this is what's going on for me right now, not necessarily forever, but this is right now. My stomach hurts, my back hurts, I'm preoccupied with my friend's illness. That's just what's going on right now in this moment. This is just some science I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. The 2 divisions of the nervous system. One is get up and go. Oh my God, I'm being chased down the block. The other is I'm going to chill. I should have written it out. The sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. That's what those abbreviations are. So now we're going to try something else. Again, you can close your eyes, not close your eyes, change position. And this is belly breathing, diaphragmatic belly breathing. And what this does is it helps you lean more into the parasympathetics, which is the calming, rather than being in the adrenaline running, I got to get everything done. So what you're going to do as best as you can is you're going to breathe in and let your belly expand. And when you breathe out, your belly's going to go back in. So in this country, when we take a deep breath, our shoulders tend to go up, that kind of thing. You're looking more for the unattractive. And don't worry about getting it right. So you're just going to breathe in and out, again, focusing on your breath. But this time we are going to have an intention, and your belly's going to rise and fall as you breathe in and breathe out. Doesn't have to be fast, slow, let it happen. We have to breathe anyway. And so that is a mindfulness that brings a little bit of intention to it. Instead of just watching your breath, you're going to move towards diaphragmatic breathing. Belly in and out, less action up at the chest. Oh, so I wear two hats. I'm an occupational therapist at Rex in Raleigh, and I'm a health coach. And I do a lot of health coaching in the clinic as an occupational therapist, but also with people who have something chronic going on, that this is just the way it's going to be. And how do you cope? Because there's some things you can change and some things you can't change. UNC, their integrative program for integrative medicine offers something called the mindful-based stress reduction. And it's MBSR, started by John Kabat-Zinn. Duke has one at all also. It's an 8-week program. A lot of them are offered virtual. And it is about just this, being mindful. How do you develop the skill to be present to what is going on if it happens to be unpleasant? You can also learn to be present to things that are good that are going on, so that you're not just focusing on what needs to be better in your life. So anyway, that's a program that's offered by Duke. There's a program that's offered by UNC. This is the information for it. These are just some folks that you can find online that really know what they're talking about. Some of them have their own website. Some of them have virtual courses, telecourses. You can also just go on. I'm not a social media person, but you know, YouTube, those kind of things, and see what they have to say to get some support at your fingertips, some really accessible support. So now I want you to make yourself comfortable again. And if you're writing or drinking, don't feel like you have to rush through that. You can be mindful and drink. You can be mindful and write. And just bring your attention to your breathing. And if you need to shift or change position, that's fine. Think about the muscles in your forehead. And are you doing any holding there? And if you're doing any holding, I invite you to let it go. Notice any tension in your eyelids. Are you closing them tightly or gently? Your jaw. Are your teeth together or slightly apart? And notice what your attitude is about that. Are you being friendly? Maybe there's just some tension there. Have some curiosity. Maybe things are so unpleasant right now that sitting here and focusing your attention isn't really working. And so maybe opening your eyes and looking around would be better, easier, kinder. Notice if you feel restless. Notice your shoulders. Your arms. And again, if your mind wanders, just in a friendly manner, bring it back to you. You deserve the attention. The dishwasher will still be there when you get home. This is a chance to give you, yourself, some attention. Notice your stomach, your back, your hips, your legs, were my legs able to get me here today, or were they having a hard time? My feet, and again, if your mind has wandered, in a friendly manner, bring your attention back to you. And now we'll bring some intention with some well-wishing. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be safe. And when you're ready, you can bring your attention back to me, if you're so inclined, or you can stay in mindfulness. And so that's all I have to say. If people have questions.
Do you recommend that this be used in the course of the day? Is this something that you should turn to in a stressful situation, or is it something you should practice when you wake up in the morning? And in practicing, how many, like what, how many minutes?
I'm gonna repeat real quick because we are recording this and I want people to be able to hear it later. No worries. How do you incorporate this into your everyday life? That was the question.
So I think you can call on it when you're in a stressful situation. I would recommend doing this just whenever. It's like if I'm trying to learn Spanish and you put me up in front of a group to do Spanish, you're starting at a very high demand and I'm just trying to learn Spanish. I'd rather start with like, hi, hello, with my partner in class where it doesn't really matter. I don't want to be dumped in some Spanish speaking country where now I've got to find my way out of the train station. So waiting until you're in a stressful situation is asking a lot to practice a new skill. However, there's certainly no harm in it. You can also rely on the diaphragmatic breathing, the belly breathing, because that's a tried and true of getting you out of that adrenaline rush of stress. For example, driving here from Raleigh is not my favorite thing in the morning. And so I was belly breathing the whole way. Did I feel yippee skippy? I'm glad to be doing this. No, but maybe it brought me down from like an 8 out of 10 stress to maybe a 6 because I just don't like doing it. But I was doing something good for me instead of a story. Oh my God, the traffic. I hate doing this. Why did it kept me out of that escalating story? I started with 5 minutes. So when I learned about this, I was like, okay, I can find 5 minutes in a day. And I picked 5 minutes and I did 5 minutes. And I don't remember how long I did it for a long time, 5 minutes. Then I picked another 5 minutes in another part of the day. Then at some point I said, okay, I'm going to put these 2 5 minutes together and I'm going to do 10 minutes. And that was kind of how I created the practice for myself. So more is better, but having it as another thing you got to do is not going to be helpful.
One more question for Nancy.
Classes. And the teacher usually starts with the breathing thing at the beginning to get everybody away from their everyday life and into being ready to go to do the exercises. And that works.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
One more. We have 1 more minute.
Thank you. I found it to be, you can do in the bed when waking up. And if you do properly, sometimes take half hour, you can do this. And players have done it in stressful situation. just sitting at sideline, just take a deep breath and that relaxes you. So my feeling is doing in the morning is better. Start the day with this.
Thank you for that. That's why we thought starting the session might be a good way to do some deep breathing, center yourself, and get us ready for the rest of our session. So thank you so much, Nancy. Now we're going to invite to the stage our physical therapist friends, Deetra and Becca, and it's a student joining us, maybe? Be our demonstrator? Oh, perfect, perfect.
Now that you're all flat, I'm gonna make you move.
I know it's awkward.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see some familiar faces here. I'm Deetra and this is Becca, and we are both physical therapists at the UNC Center for Rehabilitation Care, which is an outpatient clinic. If y'all are familiar with the area, it's off of 15501 by the Lowe's. So we're very happy to be here with you all today, and we're going to talk for a few minutes about exercise, and then we're actually going to get up and move about. So we're looking forward to that. This will likely not be the first time that someone tells you that exercise is helpful for improving or maintaining strength and mobility and endurance. Exercise can also help to improve mood and to address some of those kind of non-motor features that can come with atypical Parkinsonism conditions like depression and apathy and anxiety. So we're, of course, big fans of exercise, and it's a big part of what we do with our clients. There are 4 different types of exercise that we encourage folks to incorporate into their routine in some capacity. The first one is aerobic exercise. So that's building up that endurance by getting your heart rate up and keeping it up for a period of time. So that could be swimming or riding, a recumbent bike, using that equipment at the gym, or taking a walk. Strength training, so that's using either body resistance or machines or weights to help build muscle strength. Flexibility exercises or stretches to help improve flexibility and decrease tightness and rigidity. And then neuromotor exercises, which are to improve balance and coordination.
So one of the big things to work on is your posture. So a lot of people have pain that they are not necessarily expressing, but posture is not only going to help with strength, but also with swallowing, and just being upright can help with walking, can help with maintaining your rotation, extension, which you tend to lose as things progress. So that's part of the stretching, but making sure that you're holding your shoulders back and down is going to help everything here. Okay, so you mentioned water aerobics. So we want to know of any of the exercises that you guys are doing, or any classes that you're taking, any resources you have. Does anybody here have an exercise program that they're already doing? Yes. Where do you do it? Okay, I do aquatic therapy. Yes. So I am all for everyone getting in the pool. So you can't fall in the pool, you just get wet. So that I am all for that. It's an excellent way to get aerobic exercise. What? Yes. Okay, punching Parkinson's. Okay. Duke Center for Living? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, all right, awesome. Okay. Nice. Okay. How often or how far are you walking?
Not all at one time.
Yeah.
Pool very close to me. I walk in the water.
That is, everybody listen to that. Remember, you cannot fall, but there's resistance, so it's helping with strengthening. Yes. Yes. Yes, I agree. So again, do it. I love it. We have a warm water pool, so I'm just bragging. But it is still good in a cold water pool as well. So, oh, yes.
But you can fall in.
Amen. Amen. So, yes. Yes, you have to get. Yes. So I have a lot of people with dysautonomia that I'm getting out of the pool. What I tend to have them do is if there's a lift, I actually, and that is the safe way to get into the pool if there's a lift. Especially I have a lot of people who are in wheelchairs that I will transfer, get over into the pool. Slowly getting out because your blood pressure will change. So you really have to take your time getting out. That's key for sure.
And for anybody that didn't hear that, the comment was that you can't fall in the pool, but you have to be careful getting in and out because that is a safety concern.
Yes, very much so. And thank you, Jessica. Appreciate that. Okay.
We have one more.
Oh,
Husband, he his mobility is very weak.
yes.
He had a friend who has a jet and he goes into the pool. He says there is a lift.
Yes.
Thinks my husband would really benefit.
Hmm.
But now, I mean, would he be okay in the pool if he really is having trouble moving? Would it benefit him? I mean,
So it is a case by case basis. Okay. And again, water is not the only mode of exercise. Okay. That I don't want you to think that, but, I have a lot of people, that I see that have poor mobility outside of the water, and then they can move better in the water, less painful. Again, getting in and out of the pool is what you have to discuss, but it is a case by case basis because I can't tell you that absolutely because I haven't seen him, but generally people that have a lot of rigidity do really well in the water, especially, and people with imbalance do really well in the water. So it is just one option, but safety comes first with all of this. Absolutely, for sure.
Okay, so thank you so much for your input. Next, we want to move around a little bit. And so we're going to do some of the sitting down exercises from the Parkinson Wellness Recovery series and the Lee Silverman Voice Treatment series. If you've participated in those exercises, either in physical or occupational therapy or in the community, they might look familiar. And we encourage all of our care partners here to also join us and participate.
Oh, I guess I'll hold this while you do the power moves. Do you need a chair?
Yeah, so we'll try to go ahead and make a little bit of space for everyone. Ideally, have enough room that you can reach your arms in different directions and lean forward. Of course, we'll be walking around and circulating and trying to give tips, but if you're doing anything that feels painful or uncomfortable, just stop or modify in any way that you need to.
I'm watching all of you, so make sure you participate.
All right, so everyone go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Best posture of the day so far. Nice job. Go ahead and bring your feet apart. Plant them on the ground or on your foot plates if you're in a wheelchair. Nice. Shoulders up. And then relax them back and down. Perfect.
Away from your ears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks great. All right, for the first move, I'm going to have you lean forward with your hands on your knees and then push yourself up into a nice tall position. Perfect. That looks good. And let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Let's go again. Ready? Hands to your knees. Lean forward and power up. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's try a few more like this. Ready? Lean forward and power up. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Nice posture. 2 more. Lean forward and power up. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's try 1 more. Lean forward and power up. Nice tall posture. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big finish. Nice job. Okay. Next move is going to be a twisting move. So you'll start with your arms reaching side to side. Can modify by dropping your arms lower or bringing them in a little bit closer if it doesn't feel great having your arms all the way to the side. For this one, I'll have you bring your arms together on one side. Try to clasp your hands together if they want to clasp. And then open into that nice big posture. Good work. Other way. Ready? Twist. And open. Ooh, this is tricky on a rolling chair, a new challenge. Ready? Twist. Good. And open. Big posture. Twist. Nice. And open. Good. Let's try 6 more. Ready? Twist. Open. That's 1. Twist. Open. That's 2. Twist. Open. 3. Twist. Open. 4. Twist. Open. 5. Last one. Big twist. Good. And open. Excellent. Nice job. Everybody's still in their chair. Good work. That was tricky. All right. And then I'll do one more with you before Becca shares some moves with you. This one is reaching in different directions and again, holding with that nice big posture. If you're familiar with the LSVT big program, this is our first sitting down exercise. I'm going to come around to the other side. Hopefully you can still hear me. So sitting nice and tall, shoulders up and back. Good. I'll have you reach forward. Reach down. Reach up as high as is comfortable. Good. And then out. And we'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big finish. Be more like that. This time count with me. We'll do some nice loud backward counting. Everybody will be wondering what we're doing in here. Ready? Reach forward. Reach down. Reach up. And out. Starting from 10. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big finish. Excellent. All right. Reach forward. Down. Up and out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take out. Last one. Ready? Reach forward. Down. Up and out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Together. Oh, nice job.
So
Becca, take it away.
as you can see, like this is promoting that posture that is so important. So, okay, so we're gonna do some stepping exercises. So if you can, you're getting yourself to the edge of your chair, make your posture big. Okay, so the first one is you're gonna step a foot out and your arms go out. Okay, and then you bring it back in. That's 1. Okay, stay with you, the same side. All right, out, back in, 2, out, back in, 3, out, 4, one more. 5, all right, other side, okay, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now we're going to the side. So you'll be stepping your leg out to the side, reaching out to the side, and I like when people turn towards that side. Okay. All right, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, other side. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, you guys are not rolling. Really impressive. Okay. All right, so the next one will be backwards. So you'll start with your feet kind of out, arms are out, and then one foot goes back and the arms go back. Okay? Ready? All right, 5 on each side. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. 5, okay, ready, other side, okay? 2, yep. 3, 4, 5, okay, one more, okay, this is called rock and reach. So you're gonna do opposite arm and leg, so this is some coordination. If you do same side arm and leg, doesn't matter, you're still moving. So, all right, so one foot goes out, arm goes up, okay, and then you're switching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are fun. What I want you to know though, is that these are not for everybody, okay? Exercise has to be tailored to whomever it is. Everybody's at a different level. So this particular program has ones that are lying down as well. And again, like you don't have to stick to a certain protocol, but things have to be tailored to you. Moving in general is important. Move it or lose it. I think that's all.
I think we might have a couple of minutes. Does anybody have any questions about exercise or anything that might be physical therapy related? A nice job with those exercises. You all looked really good. Yes.
Yes, my husband, did physical therapy with his Parkinson's, but, you know, they work with something. I don't know, I wasn't there. And he said, you know, they just told me to do this. There's no program per se to meet his personal needs.
Yeah.
So I'm at the senior center in Durham, and there is an arthritis class, so a lot of the movements you're doing, you know, we do seated or we do some standing for balance. And he enjoys that.
Good.
So, it's just finding the right program,
Absolutely.
and, I'm searching, but it's
Yeah.
work.
I mean, I'm gonna like promote us. It is fun to come to physical therapy and get your own program that can be tailored to you. I mean, not so like, you know, I think it's important to actually get a program tailored to you for sure. Yeah.
And the comment was that there's an arthritis class in Durham that's working well for your husband, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so right, there are a lot of, you know, kind of programs in the area that might be tailored to people who have some type of Parkinsonism, but it's also great to find a program that might include just, you know, chair exercises or chair yoga.
And I think you would agree, it doesn't have to be Parkinson's specific as long as you are moving and it's safe and you like it. We hope you like it.
Take, you know, I often comment about posture and breathing. And I can't do it for it.
No.
So this is the thing. I mean, because I do yoga
Yeah.
Got a background and knowing how important it is to breathe and posture, and he's so astute. And so it's hard to even do it.
The more that it's a program that he enjoys doing, the more likely he'll be to do it. So I think that's an important piece to keep in mind, finding whatever, has that spark.
Can we go and have a program tailored to our specific needs and then meet with a therapist that's closer to home?
That's a great question. Oh,
Okay. Something that worked for my husband. It was early in his PSP journey, was using a recumbent bicycle. And I think Dr. Skleroff had recommended that, but to get your heart rate up at a certain rate, and that would slow the progression. Is that what you recommend? It was really, really good. Yeah.
Recumbent bike is just like Jessica was saying, with the dysautonomia, blood pressure changes, like you're sitting, so, and your back, so that you're not necessarily risking the orthostatic hypotension as much as you would if you were doing something standing. So yes, I think that's great. Again, it is tailored to the person. But I think that's an excellent option. Yeah, Dr. Skleroff is brilliant. So anything she says really goes.
question, and then we have our break.
Do you have any classes at the warm water pool, or is it only if you're working with a physical therapist in an individual program?
Classes. There's a class during the middle of the day, which gives me a really long lunch, so it's really nice. And so if you do have to be a member of the Meta Wellness Center. But yes, there are classes in the warm water pool. Yeah.
And we'll be here during the break.
For my husband, for some reason, I thought it was maybe his posture and not breathing well. The exhaustion is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When he walks, he can walk a distance.
Again, tailored to the person. Yeah.
We'll be sticking around here during the break. So if you want to come and chat with us or have any other questions, feel free to come on up.
Yes, just wanted to let everybody know the bathroom's right outside, and there may still be some beverages available, but we'll be back for our next session at 11:10. So feel free to get up and move. Like, I knew this was gonna be the hardest one. Like, it's like you need to be moving, but you can't.
Yeah. Hopefully we were loud enough.
Yeah, I think
We're
so.
used to-
I think so. Yeah, you're used to doing it.
loud.
Yeah.
But I have to make sure that's not. But you gotta be. We'll show you the 14,000.
We had, I am very happy to share our next speaker is Lisette McEwen. She is one of our pelvic physical therapists on our interdisciplinary team, and she's here to share about bowel and bladder wellness.
Good morning. Like I said, my name is Lisette. I'm a pelvic health PT. So I've been a PT for a while, 25 years, and I also am orthopedically trained, which a lot of pelvic health PTs also understand orthopedics. So my role is I speak to people all about their bowel and bladder, which is what we're going to figure out now for the next 20 minutes or so. So I'm just going to pop this up, and I know actually I'll wait for a minute to do that. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the pelvis and the pelvic floor muscles and kind of the role of the pelvic floor muscles. I have one pelvis here. I couldn't honestly carry both my male and my female, so I'm sorry. I just have the female, but the pelvic floor muscles are the same. So the pelvic floor muscles, basically, if we think about the pelvis, we've got a bony ring here, and the pelvic floor muscles is literally that's the floor of your house. So if we think about the abdominal wall being the front wall of your house, the back muscles being the back wall, the pelvic floor sits right underneath. So it has multiple functions. It has the functions to work along with your abdominal wall and your back muscles so that we can be upright. And so it's constantly has some tension. It has the function where it can, as we're looking here, we have, oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm like, I can hear myself reverberating. So I feel like I can speak and I have a loud voice. Yes, I get it. And I also speak quickly. I've been told that my entire life. So if I'm going too fast, please feel free to raise your hand and say, can you slow down? I will not be offended. So the pelvic floor muscles, they basically have 3 muscle layers, and one of the roles is to keep the tubes closed so we don't leak urine or leak stool. So as we're all sitting here right now, there's tension in our pelvic floor muscles. There's also our bladder should be relaxed and filling with urine. And the colon, so we have our small intestine in the middle, dumps into our large intestine, which is where the stool is stored. And the role of the colon is to pull as much fluid as possible back into the body. So we'll get back to why hydration is so important, but that's part of it. It's the role of the colon is to pull the fluid back in so we don't become dehydrated. When you've had that urgency, like that sense of, oh, I've got to use the bathroom to urinate, or I've got to use the bathroom to have a bowel movement, the bladder is starting to contract just a little bit, and the pelvic floor muscles start to relax just a little bit. And then we think, I've got to go. When we go to the bathroom and we sit down on the toilet, and I say sit intentionally because the pelvic floor muscles, we want them to be as relaxed as possible when the bladder is emptying or the bowel is emptying. The best way to have those pelvic floor muscles be completely relaxed is to be seated on the toilet. So that's why I say it intentionally for sitting. So when you sit down on the toilet, the pelvic floor muscles should relax. The bladder should contract to empty the urine. And that's controlled by a feedback loop in the brain. I'm going to switch the slide real quick here. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's in your handout. Got it. Okay. No worries. That's fine. So in your handouts, what I gave you was urinary urge suppression technique. What that is designed to do is that sometimes we can feel like the urge is really, really strong, and we feel like we have to go really often, and we feel like we're rushing to the bathroom, right? For some people, they will leak on the way to the bathroom because, like I stated earlier, as the bladder is starting to contract a little bit, the pelvic floor muscles are starting to relax. That's controlled by the brain. It also is very tied into the nervous system. So as we get more anxious and we're trying to get to the bathroom, that amps the nervous system up, makes the bladder contract harder, makes it more likely to leak on the way. So with those urge suppression techniques, what you want to do is if you feel that urgency, you want to stop. If you're sitting, stay seated. If you're standing and you can safely, stop in place. And you want to take some deep breaths. Nancy earlier talked to you about core breathing. Pelvic health therapists are huge on core breathing. Core breathing helps to relax the nervous system, as you learned with meditation, but it also helps to move the pelvic floor muscles, and it helps to calm down that sense of urgency. So you're going to stop in place. You're going to take a few of those deep breaths to try and calm the nervous system down, help calm the bladder down. And then if you can feel those pelvic floor muscles, they're the muscles that you use to stop the flow of urine or to prevent the passing of gas. You're going to try and squeeze those muscles about 5 or 6 times because we can't control the bladder. We can't tell it when to contract or relax, but we have some control over that feedback loop in the brain by contracting those pelvic floor muscles. Okay. If you're sitting, so now you've felt that urge, you've done your 3 or 4 deep breaths. if you can, and this works for you, you can squeeze your heels together. So you can try this with me if you can. Put your heels together. And you're going to squeeze those heels about 5 or 6 times, and you'll feel the inside of your legs kicking in. That will feed into your pelvic floor. So it's a way to get the pelvic floor muscles contracting to try and send that signal up to the brain to say, not time, bladder, turn off. Okay. Urgency comes in waves. So it gets worse and worse, and then it'll go away. Kind of think of if you're driving, like you're going on the freeway, right? And you feel that urge, I've got to go, and you can't get off the freeway right then. You'll feel it, I gotta go. And then something will distract you. There's not an exit there. And then the next exit comes along. You're like, oh, wait, I do need to get off on this exit. I do need to go to the bathroom. That's those waves of urge coming. Okay. So what the urinary urge suppression techniques are designed to do is to get you through that wave of urgency to the calmer period, And so that urge will start to wear off. That's when you want to proceed to the bathroom. Now, this is the important part. This is when you do not want to rush. We know that we want to keep you safe. We want to keep you moving, to go slowly, to be able to breathe as you're walking to the bathroom, getting to the bathroom, taking your time. When you get into the bathroom, many people feel like their urgency peaks up. It's a trigger. When you see that toilet, your brain's saying, oh, I'm almost there. And so it'll trigger you to come back up. So the more you can it is self-talk. It is mind over bladder. It's kind of saying, nope, I'm in control. I'm staying calm. I'm calmly taking my pants down. I can do this. So that's what I want you to practice if urinary urgency is one of the things that's happening to you. Okay. Yes. No, I hear what you're saying. The question was, do these techniques still work if you've been told that you've lost control? If there is no nerve innervation going to the bladder, or if then no. But oftentimes it's diminished or there's not. And so it's not going to be a miracle cure. It's not going to be like, you're going to start doing this, but it is something because of that nervous system triggering. Sometimes we can help some. Is it going to eliminate urine leakage? Honestly, probably not in the kind of case that you're talking about. But it may feel like it gives you a little bit more control in being able to calm the nervous system and being able to calm that bladder some. So it's worth a try. I don't want you to spend all your time thinking about it and obsessing about that. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then that's fine. But that's yes. And so that's with the urinary urgency and incontinence. Any other questions on that, the urge suppression techniques? Okay. Sure. Mirabetric, yep. So it is related in the fact that the reason for the prescription of Mirabetric is to calm that urge. It is to help urge suppression. It is to kind of calm the bladder down some. There's a couple different types of medication that do that. The big thing with those is a lot of them have the side effects are dry eyes, dry mouth, constipation. Not super helpful when constipation is a big symptom of what's going on, but that's what yes, it is related. That's what they're for. Have to be careful with prescriptions of those because of the other side effects. Okay. Yes. So like there's a lot of medications on the market and they work in kind of different methods. So depending on what's going on with the other medical system, what's going on with your body in particular, sometimes they can use one type of medication. Sometimes they can use the other type of medication. So it's worth a discussion with your physician, but I'd say it's like, it depends because there's a little bit of a gray area depending on what else is going on. But there's not just one type of medication. There's a couple types of medication. Okay. Yes.
TV commercial, vibrating platform, A is valid, B, if it is, why not have a vibrating platform at home from Amazon?
Yeah, I definitely get that question a lot. admittedly, there's not a lot of great research in pelvic health in general. It's getting better, but there's not a lot of great research. But as far as the vibration plates and pelvic floor, there's not a lot of great evidence that it's helpful, as far as, because what the idea of the vibration is to try and help the muscles contract some. And when there's not great signaling going on to the muscles, the vibration alone has not been shown to make much difference with incontinence. The other thing is, part of what's going on is the nervous system being amped up with the urinary urgency things. And if you have a vibrating, say they have like a vibrating pad or something in the underwear, that's actually going to stimulate the nervous system quite a bit. So it may not actually be very helpful for urgency type things. Does that answer? Yeah. So not a great answer. I don't think that I don't think we know enough to see, but what we know, it doesn't physiologically make sense why the vibration would help, but it's still, debate is still out just because there has not been research on that. Okay. So, we're going to go to the flip side of that and say, so a lot of times we know, as far as the bladder is concerned, one of the things that can come up, with the diagnoses that we're talking about today with atypical Parkinson's is a difficulty initiating urination, that it becomes difficult to start the flow of urine. So the breathing, back to the core breathing, big believer in that. When you are seated, and this is what I was talking about, when you're sitting on the toilet is when the muscles can be most at rest. Some of you may have seen, are you familiar at all with squatty potties or toilet stools or those kind of things? So, and again, that's in your handouts. We talk about toilet posture. When our knees are at 90 degrees, so equal with our hips or below, if it's a taller toilet, the pelvic floor is not completely at rest, and the colon comes down. So we have this, our colon comes around, it dumps into the rectum. The rectum is the storage area of the stool. And then as you sit down on the toilet to have a bowel movement, the muscles relax. We want the flow of stool to come out. When we're at 90 degrees, there's a little bit of a kink in the bottom of the rectum, so it doesn't come straight out. By elevating the knees above the hips, that straightens out that kink a little bit and makes it slightly easier for the stool to come out. Now, I say that with it, making sure that in the bathroom, having a stool can be a trip hazard, right? So you need to see how it fits in your bathroom and what works. For some people, if they can't tolerate a stool or it just gets in their way, I'll have people get old books or even bricks and put on the side of the toilet if they can slide them out, to put their feet just up on those so they don't have the stool right in front of them to become a trip hazard. Okay. Good. All right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not going to work for everyone. Sometimes rolling a towel to give you a little bit of back support, so you have something soft to kind of reach to sit into, can be helpful, just to give you some padding there. So you don't have to go. And some of the squatty potties or the toilet stools are very, very high. You don't necessarily have to go all that height. And that's why I say play around. It's better to have some elevation than no elevation, but sometimes it's a really sharp angle, like in your handout, it's a really sharp angle. And some people that does not going to work for them, either to get up there or for comfort. So it doesn't have to be all or none. You can find, like I always, good. Yeah, you can. Yeah. So if that's more comfortable, just have the cushion toilet seat, but also, like I said, the towel behind the back, because sometimes just having that hard surface or feeling that there's no support there can be uncomfortable. But play around with it. And I always say, try to, if you can, take old books or something like that, find a height that works for you before you run out and buy a toilet. There are some of them that have multiple heights where you can put extra height on it, but you can also take the height off. So it's kind of a 2-height toilet stool. So if it's something that works for you. So when it comes, then back to trying to start the flow of urine. When you sit on the toilet, doing a few deep breaths to see. What I don't want anyone to do is be trying to strain with trying to urinate or to have a bowel movement. When you strain, we think that we're pushing everything down, but actually what we're doing is making the pelvic floor contract more. So as much as you can, get out of that habit. If you feel like when you're having a bowel movement, you want to start the flow of stool, you got to pretend like you're blowing through a straw. So everybody try this with me. Try and take it. You can feel your abdominal muscles kick in, but it doesn't make the pelvic floor contract. Okay. So that's the first trick. The other trick is, if you can, when you're sitting, if you're having difficulty starting the flow of urine, just bending forward some, just that's actually pressure on the bladder from the abdominal wall, and it tips the bladder just a little bit. Sometimes that can help start the flow of urine. Okay. Another trick is just above your pubic bone here. If you do, that's where the bladder sits. If you do 3 quick pushes, so my hand is flat. I'm going to show you standing up. Just here's the pubic bone, just above that. 3 quick pushes. It's called a Crede maneuver. Sometimes that can stimulate the bladder to start to contract as well. Okay. Good. I know I'm going kind of quick, but I want to make sure I want to give you all of this. So, the last thing, so constipation, which I know is a big problem. So hydration, like I talked about earlier, the colon's role is to get all of the fluid out of the stool, which is why the stool becomes hard. It makes it harder to move in the colon. So hydration is really important. If you're low on your hydration, I never tell people to go out and just start drinking. No, don't double it or triple it. That's not realistic. So try adding maybe 1 extra glass a day, or a half a glass in the morning, a half a glass in the afternoon. Slowly increase your hydration so you don't feel like all of a sudden, oh my gosh, now I'm totally running to the bathroom. Do it slowly and try and increase. The color of your urine should be a very pale yellow color. I know some people are on supplements and things like that will color their urine, but if not, the first thing in the morning, you're going to have a dark color of urine. After that, the rest of the day, if you're properly hydrated, it should be a very pale yellow color. Okay. And then of course, with constipation, we know that foods make a big difference. So making sure that you have a good amount of fiber in your diet, if you can tolerate it. And ground flaxseed is another one we recommend a lot, because it is a natural supplement that you can put on like in oatmeal or on salads, things like that. It's got to be the ground, not whole seeds, because whole seeds will not process through your colon as well. They'll come right back out. But if it's ground, that's something you can add into your diet. Yes. For some people it does, because it is a higher source of fiber. So kind of playing around with what works for you. Pears are a really good one. Blackberries have a high source of fiber. Those type of foods. All right. I think we're running out of time.
Y'all are making me hungry talking about.
I know. I was going to say, as they said at the conference I was at last week, I'm standing between you and your foods.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your attention. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to stick around for a few minutes after this, and I appreciate seeing all of you. Welcome.
So we'll be transitioning to lunch now. It's right outside. The Friday Center does have extra staff on hand if anyone needs some additional support getting their food ready. I hope you'll also take some time to check out our vendors. We have got a lot of really good folks here who want to support. We've got Orange County Department on Aging. We have CurePSP. We have Arosa Care. We have Golden Harmony, Senior Helpers. Hope Renovations for people who are in the Orange County near Carborough area who are looking to modify their home. Really check them out. And we've got Jewish for Good. And I think I've got everybody. So please go around and check out our vendors. They're here to support you and share lots of good information. But our support groups are going to start at 12:20. If you have number 2 in your folder, you are going to be with Jessica Schur meeting in this room after lunch. If you have number 1 in your folder at 12:20, you're going to be with me, and we're going to go down the hall just a little bit in the Rosebud room. It looks just like this on just down the hallway a little bit. So at 12:20, I'll be gathering everybody up, and you can follow me if you have a number 1. So